am having the roughest time tonight. I'm really trying to film, guys. I know it's been 3 weeks because it's now Tuesday, August 15th. Well, it's the 16th now, 2017, and this is Talk to Me Tuesday. So I'm getting slap happy, guys. I really am. Alright, let me tell you my couple crafty things. Okay. I have 3 crafty things to tell you guys. 1, I'm working on something, and I'm really enjoying it, and I can't show you. 2, I bought some new yarn. Red Heart has some new ombres out, and they are pretty badass. I really like them. Unfortunately for me, the 3 skeins that I bought are downstairs, and unfortunately for you, I'm too lazy to go get them. But if you're the type to look at Red Heart yarn, you might want to take a look in the next week or so, because they had some pretty cool colors. 3, my friend and I went out to dinner a couple weeks back, and usually after dinner we walk over to Joann's, which is at the other end of the strip mall, and I wasn't going to buy anything, but I found this fabric, and I swore to myself that this was the most mom fabric I've ever seen. It screams my mom's name, right? So I purchased some of this fabric. I came home and I told her I wasn't going to buy anything, but I found something for you, and I just got to figure out what to do now. And she goes, okay. I said, no, seriously, I bought some of this fabric, and it is like the Mama's Mom fabric. And she goes, okay. So I pulled it out and I showed it to her, and her reaction was exactly what I expected. I was right. Bought a couple of yards of this. It's blue and purple, and it's sparkly, and I got a couple of projects in mind to do with this for her, so that'll be fun when I get around to doing it. Well, I have a plan. We'll just leave it at that. So there's that. As far as other things eating my brain, I'm more or less done with my genealogy family history that I was working on. Not that I'm done with it. You're never done with genealogy. But I finished the work that I was working on. Now I have to edit. I promised myself I wasn't going to edit for a month, and I lied, of course. So I've been trying to limit myself on that, like only editing when I'm on lunch. But I've got a list of what I need to add to it, and that's it's all minimal stuff, so that's really good. Then last week I was going to film, and I forgot that I had show and tell as far as shopping report, so I didn't. But last Monday, the 7th, I gave a presentation at a local women's philanthropy group, and it went really, really well. I have never had such a good audience. Anybody who's ever done any presentation type work knows that there's usually somebody, at least one person. Yeah, it makes it very hard to present. Not a single one of these women were doing that. They were all open and engaging and smiling. They laughed at all my jokes, which either proves they have great sense of humor or they pity me, and I don't care. But it was a really positive experience for me. I had a great time at it. They seemed really interested in genealogy. I haven't heard from any of them since, but the lady that asked me to speak actually wrote me a thank you note, and my boss got it before I did, and I guess they're going to bring it up at the board meeting that was tonight, so that's good. Then the other thing, so that was a really good beginning of last week. This week has been a little harder. I have a friend who's in hospital. She's in her 3rd trimester, but she's probably not going to make it all the way to her due date as far as the pregnancy goes. She's in very good hands with the doctor. I firmly believe that. It's just always scary. she basically is probably not going to make it till September as far as the pregnancy goes. But that just means she'll have a tiny but mighty little person who will be in the best hands. So I'm both excited and terrified on that. Then I've got a display that I'm working on. About a year ago, I made a stupid joke at the wrong time. They were talking about, we have this gallery, and if you've been on Talk to Me Tuesday for at least 5 years, then you may know that I did a big display of crocheted foods several years back. Well, I jokingly said, well, you know, you could always do a Cabbage Patch Kids display for their 35th anniversary. And they go, what? And I repeated myself, and I seriously, dry tone means joke, but they said, okay, yeah, sure. You know, okay. Okay, fine. So I've known really for a year, but, you know, I tend to put things off to the last minute. I'm terrible. I start out organized and then things just fall to shit. So anyway, I had recently acquired, no joke, 3 boxes of babies from somebody local who had a dog collector who passed away in their family, and so I got a bunch of babies for that. I have some babies in my room, but not a lot. Mostly are the ones that I've gotten since I bought my house. I got a whole chair full of babies sitting over here. Again, babies that I've purchased since I bought my house. But I need to fill a whole gallery, and I don't need my whole collection for it. I certainly wouldn't use my whole collection. A lot of my dolls are pre-loved. I was 5 years old when I got my first one, and that would be Miss Adelaide. She's been my constant companion for over 30 years. I was 18 when I got my 50th doll, and I think by the time I was 21, I had 200. By the time I was 22, I think I had 500. I've slowed down because I'm really only at about 800 now. I'm not even sure how many I have, because for the past 10 years I haven't been able to keep up with keeping my database up. So anyway, a couple weeks ago I found some of my babies during a tornado warning. I went downstairs like you do, and I figured I might as well be productive. So I pulled, by the end of the tornado warning, I had found 3 boxes of tubs that I wanted to bring upstairs to look through, and it's been kind of a clash between me and my mom because she's afraid they won't go back downstairs. They will. But I discovered last night when I was looking through them to put them in new tubs to go to work, because I'm bringing a bunch of them this week and next week, and I start setting up next week. The tubs that I have are too big for my car, so I had to buy new ones. And as I started putting the babies into the new tubs, I found out some had damage to them, which is very upsetting to me. So I had to go through today being quite upset, concerned that the rest of my collection was the same way. Turns out, so far, I think I've been through about half of my collection. I didn't see the same problems, so that made me feel better, but I still have about 10 Rubbermaid tubs to go through, and they're huge tubs, and I know for a fact, like, there are certain portions of my collection that I haven't found yet, and I'm like, So anyway, so that's a little concerning, but I'm hoping it'll be okay. I did find my super expensive babies. I have some that are handmade from Babyland General, which is kind of like, you know, Wizarding World for Cabbage Patch Kids. It's this place that is all set up with a bunch of these soft sculptures, which are all handmade. You can look it up. It's really quite a fascinating place if you don't mind dolls. But they're pretty pricey, and I have a few, and I never wanted them to go in the basement, but the tubs got mixed up and I never found them before they went downstairs. So I found them tonight, and after this display is over, they are not going back downstairs. They are staying up here. So I'll get them set up better. But I feel better about that now that that's done. But yeah, that was last night that I found them that way. And then last night I also had a not really but kind of run in with somebody from my past. There was no actual interaction, but we were at the same restaurant, which in the 15 years since I last saw this person knowingly, I have not run into them since, and it's really odd since we live in the same town. But anyway, I think I was more affected by it than I thought I was. But there was no interaction. I don't even know if that person saw me, and if they did, they didn't acknowledge me, and I did not acknowledge them. But I don't want to be on the forefront of this person's mind, because that's usually when crap starts happening again. They find my phone number, and they call at all hours of the night. They find some way to torture me. I know the person knows where I work. I know the person has come into my work. Whether or not it was to see me, I don't know. Fortunately, I missed them by a few minutes. So, anyway, I think that's about it for me. That's a long time of me rambling. And again, I forgot to tell you guys to stop watching. But if you weren't interested, you shut it off anyway. So I'm hoping that I can come back next week and maybe talk to you guys some more. Until then, me and Natalie are going to go to bed, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.